until proven otherwise.
Mhm.
Just for clarification, like that'll move you up a step in the Washington trauma system, at least if you have bruising to the box or like seatbelt signs or anything like that. I hope I'm not running my time right now, but I'm just trying to clarify a point of fact that is
Oh no, you're good. I'm
debated.
about to start your time now.
So the first point I want to make is Sid made a claim. I don't know if it's true or not because I didn't have enough time to look it up. But not identifying yourself is sure, it's a misdemeanor. But assaulting a law enforcement officer while you're armed carries a $40,000 fine and 30 years in prison for one. So it's not this minor jaywalking charge. For two, resisting an officer while armed is a $10,000 fine in Minnesota, and it's a felony, potentially reaching 20 years in prison. Why? Because we consider these things to be dangerous and violent. Why? So when I say dangerously and violently resisting and impeding, that's what I mean. Because both of those charges concurrently carry a 50-year sentence and a $50,000 fine. Because we don't want the public doing that. And why? Because it puts the public and the person that's doing it and the officers around them in risk of life or limb. What are we talking about? The use of deadly force. When is deadly force authorized? When the risk of life or limb is put into question. Now, it has been carried that the officer does not have to see the gun, and we can sit here and say, "Oh, Sid saw it clear as day." Sid wasn't there. Sid has this benefit of what do we call it? Hindsight, and can go back and freeze frame and be a freeze frame social justice warrior. That doesn't mean that this was an execution. All it means is that a mistake was made. And when you deprive people of sleep all night long and harass them, a mental emotional toll gets taken. And you can't sit here on one hand and say it's okay to do all these things, and then sit on the other hand and wonder why mistakes are made. The only mistake that I see being made in that situation, and we've flushed this out before, is that the officer that actually secured the weapon should have said, "I have the weapon secured." That's the only thing. But he reaches back. You see him in the video reaching back for his gun. That is when he is shot, right after they already hear a gunshot go off, which we think is the P320 that, has a history of going off without the trigger being pulled. So it doesn't, it really does not matter. Like all of these things that Sid wants to do and look at all these different angles. The cop only had one angle. He has depth perception and straight on vision, not an aerial view, not a lateral view, not a left lateral view. He has what he sees in front of him, and what he saw in front of him was a man reaching for a gun that is being violent. We've already established that those two things are violent crimes: resisting and assaulting with a weapon. So you have a violent suspect that is now reaching for what you think is a gun because a gun's been yelled, and then you hear a gunshot go off. That, in its totality, the totality of the circumstances, including ICE officers being attacked at an alarming rate, gives reasonableness to the use of force. End of story. And I'm done debating it.
All righty. All right, Monty.
Okay, so let me get some clarifying points in here. I am on the official Minnesota State Legislature right now. 2025 Minnesota statutes. Gonna read them off. I'm gonna skip one of them because it's about like people in the DMV and stuff like that. But I'm gonna read out the penalties. So this is Minnesota State Legislature 609.50, obstruction of legal process, arrest, or firefighting. Subdivision 1, crime. Whoever intentionally does any of the following, any being keyword, of the following may be as provided in subdivision 2. So subdivision 1 is what it is. Subdivision 2 is what you're going to get if you do it. Subdivision 1, obstruction. Subdivision 1 obstructs, hinders, or prevents the lawful execution of any legal process, civil or criminal, or apprehension of another on a charge or conviction of a criminal offense. This keyword being any. That's one. Number two, obstructs, resists, or interferes with peace officer while the officer is engaged in the performance of official duties. Three, interferes or obstructs firefighter while the firefighter is engaged in performance of official duties. And then it's same thing with ambulance, but there's a special provision 144E.001 subdivision 3A who is providing or attempting to provide emergency care. Now you're starting to see where it gets in like the other aspects. Now,
Yeah.
subdivision 2, penalty. A person convicted of violating subdivision 1 may be sentenced as follows. 1. If the person knew or had reason to know the act created a risk of death, substantial bodily harm, or serious property damage, or 2, the act caused substantial bodily harm, death, or serious property damage to imprisonment not more than 5 years or payment of a fine not more than $10,000 or both.
All right. But we're good though.
Yeah, so that was the clarification. So yes, by Minnesota legislature standards, the ICE law enforcement, and that's just a state one. The actual federal one carries a multi-year sentence with a $25,000 fine, and they do stack.
And all right, and Sid, you're free to go.
Okay. Monty said he is done debating this. So what I would like to say is that if Monty was part of the administration, he would be demoted. He would be fired at this point. He is taking a maximalist view on use of force here. He is taking a maximalist view that Greg Bovino took, that Kristi Noem took. Greg Bovino has now been sent back to El Centro, where he's the head of that command center, what he was doing under the Biden administration. There's been internal reports from DHS agents themselves that they are unsatisfied with the claims made about the situation by Kristi Noem. The claims that this was a domestic terrorist that went there to do maximum damage. Here's what didn't happen. He did not brandish his weapon. Query whether they even knew he had the weapon until they engaged him. He was not being overly aggressive. He was not assaulting law enforcement. He put himself in between a law enforcement officer and the woman they had just pushed down, who was not clearly under arrest, who was not being detained, who was being pushed back and fell over. He was helping her up, and his last words, you could say this is pulling on heartstrings, but his last words were, "Are you okay?" He was then engaged. He did not engage these officers. And yeah, I challenge any of you guys to act perfectly after just being sprayed directly with pepper spray. That fucking hurts. I've been sprayed with bear spray on accident, albeit, but yeah, you don't really act in a rational way. And especially when you're getting punched in the face, you're getting tackled by 7 guys, and if Set pulled up the still that I sent him, the officer that ended up firing did see. You would say that reasonable officer saw his gun being removed. He was not reaching for it. He was not saying, "I'm going to shoot you." He was not threatening these people. And after he was prone on the ground, he was shot repeatedly by these individuals. This is not a good shoot. Most people don't think it's a good shoot, and heads have rolled in the administration because even Donald Trump does not agree with this. Last thing, I want everybody to answer. Should there or should there not be independent investigations and hopefully court cases about both of these incidents so we can get all of the facts? If you're not scared of the facts and you're assured of your opinion, you should say yes, of course. Not just they're investigating themselves, but full independent investigations. Can everyone get on board with that? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, I submit that you are not so sure about your stance.
I gotta admit, that's a pretty good way to put it. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah, I would rather an independent, non-biased side, so we're not getting a biased perspective, so both parties can be satisfied. Because if it's the FBI's doing it, the Dems won't be satisfied. If Minnesota does it, the Republicans won't be satisfied. So you're right. For both parties to be satisfied, it got to be a fully independent, unbiased investigation. So I give it to you. Yeah. What you
Good to
think,
hear.
Damon? All right. Well, I guess Game might be away for a little bit.
I do think there should be an unbiased investigation. However, at the same time, I do think that this investigation should also there should be a secondary investigation. Actually, let me stop. I just remembered something.
Hold on,
specifics.
before we move on, because I just kind of got kept in the background. So what is the definition of an independent investigation? Border Patrol did the shooting. The FBI is investigating it. Border Patrol is not investigating themselves. The FBI, the premier law enforcement agency in the world, is investigating this. An unbiased, unfucking adulterated source. So
A prosecutor. A prosecutor
doesn't
should
investigate. A prosecutor
No.
prosecutes.
You need an investigation into the case for a prosecutor to press charges. So,
Yeah, so
like
that's
a
what's
prosecutor.
happening. The FBI is investigating the premier law enforcement agency in the world. That
I think
FBI,
you could appoint a special counsel or a prosecutor. You could even have a special counsel that is federal. I
and
would
that's what's
accept that,
going to
depending on who it is.
let the investigation happen first. You're literally sitting here acting like an investigation isn't happening, and you're trying to frame it. Even to S.E.T's credit, literally said, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right about that." The FBI is not ICE. The FBI is not the Border Patrol.
No, but Monty, you might be missing my point there. I'm talking about for both parties to be satisfied with the results of the investigation.
It doesn't. They're not going to.
No, it does.
So, hold on.
Because if it goes with the FBI, the Dems are just going to say, "Oh, that's just Trump," and they're going to feel like, yes, federal agents are.
So who is qualified
under the same?
Who is qualified?
No,
who is
honestly,
qualified to investigate it? Then
if we can make some special counsel of Republican and Democrats, this would be the best way to go about it to make sure that
we're talking about an investigation, gathering evidence, not fucking asking questions. We're talking about.
I think there should be. I think that the federal government has every right to investigate it alongside the
and that's
state.
What's happening.
Alongside the state. You should have. Yeah.
It's not the state's jurisdiction. That's not how this works. Just because you
want it is. It happened in the state. It happened in the state, man.
With federal law enforcement officers. Where does that? Yep. Quick Google search that. Quick Google search. When a federal law enforcement officer is involved in a shooting, who investigates it?
There's public interest in this enough for there to be dual investigations.
You don't get to argue with facts. I'd like S.E.T to look that up.
Oh, okay.
All right, no, but what were you about to finish saying, though? You can go ahead and finish saying what you were saying.
I was saying there's public interest in this enough for there to be dual investigations into it. I think the state has every right to investigate something that happened on their soil to one of their citizens.
They're not a sovereign country.
And or for a special counsel to be allowed to all of the evidence, which, by the way, the feds had to be put under court mandate not to destroy evidence because they were.
Cool.
All right.
So
hey,
so
wait.
No, Google search. No. This is a no. Stop it,
Monty. No, I wanted them to talk. Shit, I've been quiet listening to y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and actually try to help you with a legal definition because that is exactly what Sid. He made a claim. I'm gonna answer it for him. All assaults on kidnapping of and murders of federal officers will be investigated exclusively by the FBI.
This wasn't a kidnapping of or murder of a federal officer.
There's more. How about you shush up and let somebody?
You can't. That's why I want to engage it because I have it pulled up in front of me.
the FBI does not, at the request of the Treasury, investigate assault on or kidnapping of. It has a list of things that they don't do. This is cited in the criminal manual of.
Gaming, you're derailing it.
This just shows how unsure you guys are of yourselves. The state can have no
fucking answer something that's being leveled against me. I could fucking answer it.
The state should have no role in investigating. The state should have no participation in any of this.
Sid. That is how it works.
There is so much public interest in this, and the federal government has lied.
You're not a fucking investigator. Fuck you.
The federal government has lied in both of these cases multiple times. They said he was a domestic terrorist there to do maximum damage, stuff that has been walked back by now. Cool. These guys are not to be trusted. They are not to be trusted. There should be
Trump investigating it, or is
independent.
The FBI investigating
there
it?
Should. That wasn't what Trump said, dumbass. This needs to be independently investigated, and the fact that you are so hesitant to that.
Mean to you? What does independent
I've already said.
We're actually getting what we want. Guys, we're getting what we want, honestly. The federal agents are investigated primarily by federal entities, specifically the FBI for criminal matters, and independent office.
Exactly. OIJ. If I could actually make that point.
Misconduct, fraud, and abuse. So this is going to go to the independent office of the Inspector General. Now,
I can't be sure, but
he's not going to like that. He's not. Watch. He's not going to like that.
No.
Trump.
I want to be sure. Is that one of the inspector generals that has been fired? Yes.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
So we can't have an independent investigation according to Sid. So we might as well just give it to the state of Minnesota.
But the person, the FBI agent that wanted to open up an investigation into the officer that shot RENEE Good resigned because they denied it.
Cool. Well, like that.
Is that cool? Is that cool?
She decided to resign. What does that have to do with the price of tea?
They resigned because they said they were not going to allow her to investigate the shooter. Only the person that was shot.
That's how an investigation works. The OIJ.
You don't investigate the shooter?
Can you shut the fuck up?
No, dude, you are fucking full of such bullshit, dude. You are such a fucking bootlicker.
You literally cannot stop talking and fucking close your mouth and open your ears for anybody to say anything. So, of course, you are so fucking lost in the sauce at the top of fucking Mount Stupid. Like, shut the fuck up.
Even the feds that you're saying should investigate are resigning because they're not allowed to investigate.
God. Oh, my God. You really can't stop talking. Is it like
dude? You were done talking. You were done talking.
I'm not. I literally have no.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot. Monty needs 20 fucking minutes to make a point. Go ahead.
I haven't fucking had more than 5 seconds uninterrupted. So no, it's not been 20 minutes. So shut the fuck up if you want to hear something. Otherwise, get off the fucking call if you can't be nice. So, as I was saying,
you're fighting again.
As I was saying, without being interrupted by gaming, without being interrupted by S.E.T, the Office of Inspector General and the FBI are the people who investigate officer-involved shootings. And any situation, the DEA, the ATF, the fucking the FBI, they have their own internal affairs, if you will, that investigate it. Just because Sid doesn't like that does not mean we fucking move heaven and earth to fucking give Sid a venue of his choosing because it doesn't suit him. When he says impartial, he means Minnesota, and they're clearly not biased at all.
Mute this fucker so I can actually respond.
God. No. Well, don't call me a fucker. If you cannot argue in good faith without losing your fucking mind.
You literally just laughed off the FBI agent that tried to open an investigation into the RENEE Good shooting
not being respectful
and was denied,
in the conversation.
And was denied, and so resulting in her resigning and multiple people resigning, by the way, because they're not opening impartial investigations into this. S.E.T can fact check this. Gaming can fact check this. They're not. So it's resulted in multiple agents resigning. Feds by the way, which I'm totally on board with. Yes, I am totally fine with the federal government investigating this. What I think is also reasonable, and anyone sure of themselves in this case, and what they're, are be okay with, is an investigation by the state. Where
Yeah, the same state that convicted Derek Chauvin of a drug overdose.
Dude, Derek Chauvin
They're not impartial. They're not impartial at all, buddy.
Dude, he murdered George Floyd. He did. I don't know if you
George
watched
Floyd
that
had a drug
trial,
overdose,
but
my guy. The autopsy
no, dude,
revealed it. He had a drug
you're
overdose.
so wrong. No, it did not. No, it did not. Do we need to watch the
Someone
trial
doesn't
again?
like
And someone
facts again.
we could watch. We could start our own channel and we can go over this fucking whole court case if you want. It's not going to go good for you.
So get off this channel then if you can't talk respectfully.
Now
I know you'd love that. I know you'd love that, dude.
Because you're infuriating, dude. You don't fucking argue with any genuine points. You just scream.
I'm the only one here that challenges you, man. I'm the only one here that challenges you.
Okay.
I know that sucks for you.
Hold on. Stop. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, repeat what your wife just said.
Shut the fuck up.
The death of George Floyd is unlikely to have been from a rare lethal neck reflex mechanism, straight from the NIH.
Yep.
A rare lethal reflex mechanism.
That basically is translated in that his neck wouldn't have been crushed. There was no evidence to support his trachea being crushed in.
Yeah, George Floyd was like a 200-pound man, and Derek Chauvin, he was like 5'9", like 160 pounds. To be honest with you, it wasn't enough.
Dude, we could watch the trial again if you guys want. Do you want to watch it?
That evidence was suppressed.
Sure,
that evidence was suppressed.
They made the argument, and it was actually a pretty good argument for overdose. But we kind of seen with that. Let's be real. Public opinion won that trial, not the facts.
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't agree. I don't agree, but this is derailing.
In your direction. Of course you don't. You don't agree with anything.
What do you mean? What do you mean, dude? I was arguing in favor.
You don't agree with any logical fucking conclusions.
I was arguing in favor of Kyle Rittenhouse the entire time. That's not my direction, is it?
What are you talking about? We're not even talking about Kyle Rittenhouse.
I'm saying
again,
dude. I'm saying that in things. I'm saying that in instances where you would think it's not in my direction, whatever you think that means, I followed the facts. I supported Kyle Rittenhouse.
So
I supported that as a valid self-defense.
Why aren't you following these facts then?
What do you mean?
That was just fucking read to you from the NIH's website. They're pretty, the National Institute of Health, pretty unbiased organization that said that it's not highly unlikely that it happened, and it more supports that a drug overdose happened.
I think it more supports that he was suffocating.
The man is sitting in prison right now because people like you that already fucking made their mind up sat on his jury.
Okay, he should appeal it.
There's no way to have an impartial jury in the state of Minnesota.
He should appeal it then.
He realistically can't though.
He can't.
No, he can. You can appeal it.
There's too much.
What's stopping him from appealing it? You could set up a fucking GoFundMe right now.
Your own question.
You could set up a if you're gonna say it's.
Can you mute this fucker so someone else can talk?
If you're gonna say it's financial, you guys could set up a GoFundMe right now and have $1 million in the bank.
You can't set up a GoFundMe for legal defenses. You cannot set up a GoFundMe for legal defenses. So try again.
You could set up a GoFundMe for something else, and then it could be used for that. I mean,
that's called fraud. That's called fraud. No, we know Democrats are really good at fraud, but we don't do that.
It's called a loophole. You could say it's for his family.
It's called fraud. You learned that in the Leering Center, didn't you, bud?
No, you could say it's for his family, and they could spend it however they want, and they wouldn't get charged.
No, that's not how it works. That is
fraud. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could.
Obtaining property by false pretense. That is fraud.
It's not false pretense. It's for his family.
Oh my God! Not for his legal defenses. So if it goes to his family, and then
they could use it for that. They could use it for whatever they want.
Why are we arguing this fucking point? Why are we arguing this point? Because you lost the argument, and now you want to fucking cling on to anything and cluster on everything?
I haven't lost the argument. I haven't lost any argument.
You've lost every argument.
Let's go back to the let's go back to the original one. I'm fine with
original?
either of them. I'm
Buddy,
fine with the Pretti one, the good one, the one where I support insurrectionists that you got BTFO'd on. Whatever you
you didn't.
want, bud,
The fuck are
little
you
boy.
talking about? And you see what's happening, Set? He can't win an argument, so he reverts to name calling.
Well, I'm real. I was in here and doing a deep dive on the Inspector General and which Inspector General will be presiding over the case, because there is a Pacific one in Connecticut. In Connecticut, the Office of Inspector General is specifically tasked with investigating police shootings. And this
Yep.
guy up here, which I got up here, is
Wait, Set, fun fact about that particular Inspector General, they also head up complaints for 4-star admirals and 4-star generals for over the military. And I will tell you this right now, just in case there's any fear of bias. Inspector Generals, when they come in, there's a reason why commands straighten up. There's a reason why people start being buddy-buddy. Because they go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. When I say everything, they look at if there was a wrongful death and somebody calls the Inspector General, they look at date, time, metadata, geolocation. If there was a weapon involved, they look
It's
at
a very, very big. Yeah.
Oh, they go deep dive. They can tell how old the blood is based
Hey,
off.
Seth, what when this happened? I wanna get off of the fucking minutia for a second.
Mhm.
When this happened, what did I say was likely? Did I say it was unjustified and probably a wrongful death, but not a homicide?
yeah.
Is that not a reasonable take on the situation, considering the totality of hindsight, not the shooting itself?
Yeah, it's a reasonable take.
So
But
Wait, do you think it's unjustified?
Why is it? That's what justified or unjustified means. We're talking about use of force versus a justified killing.
I got a question.
Do you think it's a justified killing?
No, I don't think it's justified, but the use of force is. Do you not understand the difference?
Wait, before anybody responds, Set, there's a guy in your chat or a bot just trying to like get you to spend money and do some other
Yeah,
crap.
it happens all the time. Just ignore it.
Yeah. Can I remove it?
Oh,
I
do have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how to
And
do
a statement. I like Inspector Generals. I'm not casting doubt onto them. What I was saying was, is this one of the ones that was fired? Because when Trump got in, he fired like 14
Obviously, he
Inspector
wasn't
Generals.
fired because he's in the fucking position, my guy.
Well, no,
Good
I'm not
God.
sure that this.
What the fuck, my dude? Pay attention. Keep up.
You done?
God.
Well,
I wasn't sure if this was one that was fired or not. So that
if
was
it's
my
someone
original
Trump appointed,
question.
then Sid's not going to trust it. In other words,
no. Elliot D. Prescott, yeah, he's going to be the one looking over this, since it's the Inspector Generals in Connecticut that handled these cases. So yes, Elliot D. Prescott, he's going to be the one doing this. His political affiliation does seem to be Republican, from what I can see, since he was appointed by, or he got high remarks from a Republican. So it does. I mean, but
that means Sid's not going to trust it.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna be.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up, Monty.
The goalposts are going to move again as soon as he says it's not. It's a justified shooting.
Give him a chance.
Dude, you are
It
so
happens
pathetic.
every time. I read Sid like a
Sid,
book. He doesn't like it. That's what it
Oh
is.
my god, you are so pathetic.
Say what you gotta say, bro. Say what you gotta say.
No, I don't think if he's a Republican, then that makes him unqualified. My question wasn't to cast out into Inspector Generals. I like Inspector Generals. I don't think they should be fired with no reason, which is why I said, was this one that was fired? If he wasn't, fine. If he was, fine.
How would he be in the job if he was fired, Sid?
Well, he could be a replacement for the person that was fired.
So if he was, then you're going to try to cast out on that, right?
No, not necessarily.
Then what's the point of the question if not to be disingenuous?
To see if this was... I didn't even know if this was going to go to an Inspector General or not.
Yeah,
you didn't either.
Buddy.
You didn't know either. You didn't know if it was going to go to Inspector General either.
Before he even did a fucking thing.
No, I wanted to know so I could know.
Yeah, why do you need to know? Why do you care?
Why do I care if it's going to be investigated by an inspector general? I mean, shouldn't we
No,
all?
why do you care if it's been a recent hire as an inspector general? Why does that matter? If not to
Well,
cast doubt and
because
be disingenuous. Because you said you made
I
a statement.
well, no,
You made
no.
a statement. You
I
made a statement. You now you're walking it back.
I wanted to point out that it was like 14 inspector generals that were unjustly fired by Trump when he first took
What does that
office.
have
So
to do with this? What does that have to do with this?
I was
Nothing,
wondering.
right?
I was wondering if it was one of them. What's your
Why?
deal, bro?
Because you're being disingenuous. That is my deal. I'm
How?
tired of you being
I mean,
because
I think he's
oh
just
my
being
fucking god.
curious.
No, Seth, come on, really?
Yeah, I mean, he honestly asked a question. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I
What is
don't take everything Sid does for like as I don't know an offense or he's just trying to be duplicitous with everything. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's just not how I like see Sid.
you give him way too much fucking credit. He's shown time and time again that's what he does. Why is that? Can you tell me why that's
Does he?
relevant, Seth? What do you see why that's relevant? If not to cast it out on the inspector general himself?
It will be
It's Trump's
casting doubt
pitch.
on his
Remember,
competency.
remember
And
what
his
he did?
trust.
Yeah, and that's my point. But my point is, if
Mhm.
anybody in the federal government does this, Sid's not going to be happy because the goalposts are going to move.
It's not true.
I don't think Sid said that.
I,
Like I said, hey
that's
man,
me
hey,
saying
we'll
that.
see.
That's
We'll
me
see
saying
though.
that.
Wait,
Because I
Seth,
get what you're saying, but we'll see because the inspector general, the ones in Connecticut, are going to be the ones taking this up. And if Sid has a problem with it, I mean, he can
He'll
sit there and try to point out that he's a Republican and all that, but he'll just be proving us right. Well, proving you
No,
right,
so
really.
here's what I'll do. I'll look at the facts of their investigation, and that's what I'll go off of.
and try to armchair quarterback it like he does everything.
I think I mean, shoot, I honestly I can't blame you for wanting to look through it and make it and see for yourself and come to your own opinions. But I'm gonna be real with you, Sid. You're gonna be putting yourself right in a crazy position if you kind of say, "Oh, I'm not trusting what the inspector general said," and this is supposed to be the most independent investigation we can get for police shooting.
Well,
If
no,
this,
if we have access to their investigation, we can look through it.
Oh, now there's qualifiers on it. First, it was they need
I
to
mean,
do an
Well,
investigation. Now Sid wants to be the judge of it.
you just want to take the government's word without knowing what they found? Is that what you want to do?
That's what you want to do with Minnesota.
No, I would want to see everything that
You
Minnesota found
already
too.
did it with George Floyd. You literally just did it with George Floyd.
No, that wasn't Minnesota. That was a jury.
The state of Minnesota prosecuted Derek Chauvin for the
Yeah,
of George Floyd,
yeah, and a jury found him guilty.
based off of a trial that was fucking a kangaroo court and done in public opinion. This is
Okay.
in order to be convicted of something, you have to have an impartial jury of your peers, not we're gonna fucking sensationalize this for 3 months,
Yeah.
then pick a jury. That's called a
Eh,
contaminated jury. They've
You
already
haven't
come into that
established.
with preconceived notions
You don't know
and
that.
ignored, and they were
Have
not
you ever
allowed. They were not allowed
have you
to
ever
see
had jury
facts.
duty?
No, I've never had jury duty,
So you don't know how they go through the picking a jury.
buddy. Have you ever heard of jury nullification?
Do you know how they go through picking a jury?
Yes, they ask you a whole bunch of questions that you can lie about.
and
I've
all right,
tried. I will say this. I've tried to lie to a jury. I got jury and victimized people that
what
I knew
the hell
personally.
is happening with your sound?
going all over the place.
Me?
Yeah, your sound
Is it me?
real crappy. Yeah.
Get him.
Yes.
Is it better now?
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
now it is. But whew, boy.
All right. Something I was trying to go through a while ago. I want to do like a final wrap up on the Good and Pretti debate that we had, where everyone says their thoughts. Is that something we could do and just wrap that up, tie it up?
The chat wants Tove up here, by the way. Summon Tove.
All right. Now what was I? Oh, well, first off, now Sid, you're gonna get what you want with the attorney general because eventually the records will be open once the case is closed, of course. And shout out to my man Zoloff. Don't worry, bro. I seen you. I was just running a lot in the background. He says, "Hey, Set. I see the ass kisser. Sid is back. TDS incarnate. This guy has to twist himself into knots to cope. Good to see things never change." Well,
It's almost like he has a reputation for fucking moving the goalposts and coming up with crazy contorted arguments.
Mm-mm-mm. Wait, was there something going on Rumble that I'm? Well,
I don't
everything's all
know.
right. We got like 14 viewers on Rumble right now. So hey, man, people
Shout
on
out
Rumble loving
Rumble.
y'all conversation. Like I'll tell you that right now, they liking it. But all right then. But all right. So it does.
I mean,
So
my only point, my only gripe with Sid is that when he's pinned down to an argument, he keeps things intentionally vague so that he can later come back and say, "Oh, I never said that." So I want Sid to accept whatever the Inspector General says, or can you commit to accepting what the Inspector General says and fine any
I will
investigation?
repeat what I said. I will look at the investigation and see if it
Got you.
holds up
So
to.
you won't accept anything. Got it.
well,
No, that's not true, Monty.
You're
Like
leaving
what?
yourself you're
What?
leaving yourself an out so that you can later on say, "Oh, but this and this and this and this and this." I want you
Why would
will you
I won't.
accept will you
No,
accept the
dude.
Inspector General's report
Oh
on the
my god.
matter? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I,
It's a very simple
I'll,
question.
it depends on the facts of the report.
Oh, if they don't align with what you think, you won't?
No, no.
Okay.
Imagine
So
this.
will you
Imagine this,
accept the report? Yes or
Monty.
no?
Monty, I'm not
Yes
gonna give
or
you a yes or
no?
no here, dude. You're not gonna. You're
I
not
know
gonna
you can't
bully
give
me
me a
into
yes or no
that.
because you want to weasel your way out of the statement. I'm not
Okay, dude.
letting you do that. Will you
You are
accept the report?
so
Yes or no?
frustrating to talk to.
I mean,
Same to you, bud.
all right, now I do think it's a fair response for this man to say, "All right, I'm going to read through it before I accept it." I mean, I think that's what we should all do. Even I'm going
Who
to do
crowned
that.
Sid? Who crowned Sid king of all opinions?
Well, I'm be
Dude,
well. It is the if it's the king of his own opinions. I mean, I think we would all want to take that,
But
investigative. Well,
this is
I know
this
I
is a
am.
matter. He said he wants an independent investigation,
Yep.
and said that we should all want it. And now we're saying we're going to get it. And now he's saying there might be a situation where I don't accept the independent investigation. I
yeah.
guarantee you, I can show you which way it'll go.
What's contradictory there?
You said you wanted an independent investigation, which should mean you'll accept the independent
Yeah.
investigation. But now that we
Here,
found out as a
here,
Republican,
Monty. Let me.
you
No.
don't you have that ambiguity in you.
You're filibustering and you're screaming because you don't want to let me talk
I'm
to you
not
still.
screaming. I haven't screamed one time. I'm sitting here talking in
Hey,
I'm a loud voice because I have to talk over your
you're talking
dumbass.
very loud. Okay, Monty.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Sid, what is the point of demanding an independent investigation if you're not going to accept whatever the outcome of it is?
I never said I was not going to accept it.
So are you or are you
You
not?
won't. You guys
All
won't
right.
even
Yes
let
or
me
no?
finish, dude. You
All
guys
right,
won't
hold on,
even let me
hold on.
talk.
It's a
I'm be
yes or
honest
It's
no.
with you.
fucking
Hold on,
pathetic,
Monty, be
dude. You
honest
gotta
with you.
have your
That's not a
fucking
yes or
wife
no
come in.
question. That's not a yes or no question. I'm be real with you. It's not. Like you couldn't. I wouldn't even give you a yes or no on that because I would have to say, well, no, if I read it and I don't like what I'm reading, and yes, all right, cool. If I'm reading it and everything looks up to date or everything looks like it's being followed by the code, then sure. So I'm be real with you. It's not a yes or no.
Yeah,
So
here's a great example. Here's what other federal officials came and said immediately. And if the investigation was reporting something like this, I would cast doubt on it. Let's say they say that Alex Pretti came there to inflict maximum damage on law enforcement and was an assassin, like other government officials have said. I would cast doubt on that. Let's say they don't release the findings of the investigation and they just say it was a valid use of force with nothing else. I would cast doubt on that. But if there is a comprehensive investigation that shows that it whatever it shows and it's comprehensive and they lay out everything they did, yeah, I will accept that even if it's against what I'm saying right now. Will you, Monty? Is there any scenario where you might cast doubt on an investigation? And by the way, I wouldn't just believe anything the Biden administration said either. So
okay, I was just about to ask you. I'm like, bro, so if it went to the state, and would you investigate that as well?
yeah, I'd want to see a comprehensive layout of everything they investigated and their findings, their witness statements, recordings, videos, all that stuff. I think that's totally valid. I don't see what the problem with that is.
You're
All
at
right.
least you're consistent. I'll give you
Yeah, I
that.
get that. I get that.
He's consistent when it suits him.
I mean, Seth, do you agree? Do you disagree? Did anything I say there, was any of
I
that
mean,
unreasonable?
as a reporter, basically, I have to agree with you because that's just how I do things. It's like I wouldn't trust it unless I read through it myself. I'll be real with you. So yeah.
Right.
So what's the point in
Why would
having
you
a
just
debate?
blindly trust the government?
I would
You're the
read
one
it
that
off
asked
the
for